As well am I. And as we're 5 minutes into quali, we have some laps up on the timing sheet already, as we have a look at the Thomas going around. Apparently not his favorite track, but we might have just gotten a small example of why. But he isn't. Yeah. Well, our racer, he should be the championship leader if I'm not mistaken. Only 10th off the Thomas, his teammate right now. And of course, he likes this track, so should give him a good opportunity to extend his lead in the championship. However, it is a one. Ooh, as we have lock and load. And it and kind of a shame. It was so close for the first 5 minutes until he did that lap. Now it's almost 4 tenths down to second place. Well, first of all, this is just a short 10-minute quali. There is a 2-hour race right after that, and pole position is not a win. There is 2 hours of strategy, pace, and mistakes to happen, so no matter how big the lead for a pole is, it's far from done. So he's definitely, and he certainly does. And he should be sitting down in 5th at the moment. A whole 9 tenths behind as he comes to the finish line. Can he improve his position though? And it's a 3rd. Not on pole. One look at this LRT Ghost getting slipstream. But it does not help. It looks like it.
our race was 7-6, well, 8/10 basically off the pace. And yeah, he's my favourite to win. The Spaniard is not looking particularly favourable yet. However, I completely agree with what you say, and I think we've got a long race to go, 2 hours, and it's going to start any minute now.
And 2 hours, that is a lot of laps. And as I said, mistakes will happen, strategies will change. And if you could enlighten us on the weather situation.
Yes, I can. It is going to rain. They predict about 50 minutes from the end of the race it's going to start raining. And this is going to make it a very interesting race and adds a bit more strategy. Another dynamic is that which driver's good in the rain and which drivers are not. Apparently, I have from good authorities that driving LMP2 cars in the rain is not the most fun experience, it's not the easiest one. So this could make a very interesting race, particularly around a very challenging circuit like Fuji. Now, we're just waiting for the AOR rolling start to happen. We do this manually because the rolling start system for Project R2 doesn't work very well. And I assume Thomas will start soon. I assume if we can
Well,
we are just waiting now.
in excitement.
Dead 3, any predictions for this race?
Any predictions? Well, I don't have many right now, but one thing's for certain, and that's I don't think the driver leading before it starts raining will win the race. I think someone behind him will pull a masterful strategy and just make some kind of strategic master that it always happens. There's always someone. As we have
We're not getting racing yet. They have to wait 5 seconds. No one is going to time it. And I will repeat it.
uh-huh.
And it is now starting. It is now starting the formation lap. Just to warm up their tires, get ready.
Alright, good. So it is a formation lap. I like that.
Yeah, they do a manual rolling start from AOR. They do that to avoid safety. Before we're fine.
Alright, well,
The circuit is the original project parking, if I remember correctly, P4. So I think circuit is different. Thomas starts on pole in the white Fuji. The pink car behind him is the green car that is starting to rain. Yesterday the Fuji had a problem and it's now retiring the race.
well, I have no idea.
That means that all the commentators qualifying is already coming to an end, and it looks like the total amount of time is taken will start there. Our racing championship has just started for
And as we're coming to the straight, we can see that the cars seems to be slowing a little down now into formation. As the pink car seems a little aggressive here. He really wants to start. In formation, closing into the start-finish line. And he's steady. It's crucial to get a good start here. If not, he will struggle through the first corner getting attacked. But it looks like he's gone, and he has had a really good start, pulling away from Gio. And into the first corner, it will be an easy task for him. However, behind you can see Racer going side by side with Slicker. Alright, so Slicker's fell a little down then. Can he manage to keep that third position as he is at the moment? As we can see that Pasha Proton has attacked and gotten past Racer, as Racer is really getting hounded by everyone around him right now. As we can see that that is another car past him. It's really not been a good start. Nah, and there he's down yet another position, or will he fight back? He can't, and it's really not a good start from the driver who we really thought were going to be up there. But we gotta remember, it is still a long time left. As he's trying to... I guess he's trying to get into the rhythm now, but we can see that Gio is closing that gap to the Thomas. As we go down the start-finish straight, he's getting slightly closer. However, well, he's actually slightly losing a little on this straight, so it's not going to be a move. As we get his onboard view, you can see that they take pretty similar lines there. Ooh. And Gio is passed. But can he maintain that lead though? Well, I'm telling you that we really didn't see that pass coming from Gio, so there's probably been a mistake made by the Thomas. That might have slowed them down a second or a little more, so it's probably that pass who made Slicker catch up. But we can see though that Slicker is losing a little time now, and I believe that is pass. As we can see that Slicker is right behind now. Yeah, he... Well, that is too bad. Well, he's been sitting within that gap for the last lap right now. He's probably looking for some weaknesses from the Thomas about where he can make a move, where he can catch up, where he's going to lose time. And right now you can also see that I think it's Pasha Proton who's pretty much catching a small amount of time on Slicker right now, so looks like we're gonna have a heated second place battle right now in a few laps. Oh, and that is close. And it does look like he's had a good exit from that last corner as they come down the straight. You can see a little defensive driving from ILRT Gust as Siddharth will have to take the outside lane into turn one, but he hasn't. Oh, but look at this though. Siddharth is looking feisty at the moment as he's close to that rear still. Might have had to let him go a little through these corners not to get hit by too much dirty air. But this is gonna be a feisty one. Again, that. Oh yeah. Michel, alright, so... Bye Michel, alright. I believe he was behind Pasha Proton earlier, so... Seems like he's been able to make a move around him. Although right now we can still see Ghost though. As he is right behind Pasha. Oh, but look at this though. That is Siddharth. He's looking to get around that. To get around Ghost. But he hasn't seemed to... Ooh, as we see the Thomas getting passed by Slicker. Oh, but this opens it up then. Will Slicker be able to pull away, or will this train still be remaining? Something to consider about Racer though. It might he be heavier fueled than the others ahead? Oh yeah. Looks like it. Well, penalties usually are a big factor in some races, although in endurance racing there can be a tendency that the gap in the end gets quite large, so we will have to see. But right now it's Siddharth again on the back of ILRT Ghost as he's on the inside this time. Heading into turn one. Oh, but Ghost goes to the inside, and will he be able to retain that position as Siddharth loses a little on the exit there, and that means Ghost is still able to stay ahead for the moment. Oh, but here we see Racer though as he struggles behind Pasha Proton. Pasha Proton was actually... he seems to be struggling a little now too. He's fallen down quite far. Yeah, and he started pretty well, so the possibility of a wet setup isn't too likely with him as it is with Racer, so I don't know what's happened with him. Could be. Could be. That is... And it won't be much. Well, he's not gonna be able to pass Nard now, but it can't be. Ooh, and Ghost heading back at Siddharth. He's staying behind at the moment. Yeah. Alright, so I think the possibility of damage is the most likely, especially considering how long he's standing here right now. Well, that makes his race pretty difficult right now. 29. And he's the only one in the 29s at the moment, too. But we can see that. Oh, that. Ooh, is that Siddharth making a mistake? It is, and Ghost is coming right back at him then. He's been struggling so long to get past Ghost that making a mistake now and ending behind him again will just be devastating for him. You do have a point there, Michel, though. I do think he's been climbing a few positions up after the start. You might be able to enlighten us on that. Could be. Alright. Alright, that was a little confusing, but Pasha obviously and as it looks right now, he's looking strong for that win, but he might be the only one doing 29 laps at the moment, but the gap is still just 3.8 seconds. So it's not much yet. And that is Siddharth and Racer, I believe. As is this racer then getting a little into the race again as he struggled in the beginning? It looks like. No, yeah. Well, with raining coming, 20 seconds is still not too much, but with the fact of the matter that he's still losing time, it will be too much when the rain is coming in the end. So, and Gio is just flying still. Still doing those high 29 laps that really nobody else is doing at the moment. We have some guys in the low 30s, but he's pulling a lot of time right now. He see coming into this chicane that he's taking it pretty tight as he goes wide on into this next corner. I gotta say, from just these few moments of watching it, one thing is for sure, he looks very stable as he drives around here. Oh, but you know, this lap was actually one of his lower ones. It was a 30 point, almost 699. So maybe he did push a little less on that lap. Although, as we see him coming into the second corner, he and he should be the second driver in the 29s right now. Then. Oh yeah. Ooh, somebody's going wide here. as it is Yaba on the back of Mr. Seal. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that is supposed to be pronounced, but Mr. X is what I'm going for. Ah, well, but on the other hand, though, look at this. Jabba is right behind him. No, he doesn't look like he's going to be going for a move right now. He's trying to play it smart. You can also notice that he's turned his headlights on, so it's clearly getting darker now. Maybe. Could be, or well, my theory would rather be that he just keeps them on, not to get surprised by suddenly it being dark and he forgetting to turn them off on. It does also. Yeah, everyone's. Yeah. Maybe he has really good night vision then. Well, it is starting to get dark. Oh, and there's only a matter of seconds between them right now. Oh, that might be. I don't have that, no. Well, the gap down to the Thomas isn't that big either. It's 3 seconds between him and Slicker, and only 7 seconds between the top three. So there's really not that much. And that should be. Sidarf is still pulling out some 29 laps too, so maybe he's finally gotten his consistency together right now. I am here. And I can see a few penalties there. Ooh, and I can just see that Ghost has just picked up 2 more seconds of penalty. Oh yeah. Well, he had a pretty bad lap last lap, so he's probably made a mistake there. Only 1 second, almost a second. about us, and you do have Siddharth behind them, who's still doing pretty good laps, although he's fallen down to 32 lap there. But Yabado, can he get past? Yabado Hut on the back of Mr. X, or ZX as you call him. He's been behind him for a few laps now, and he's still not found a way past, so... Ooh, as we can see... As they come into this tight chicane, it looks like Java has a way better braking into the corner. And he might be a little closer right now. Ooh, and look at this. This might be Jabba's opportunity right now. There's not much between them. As we see Jabba closing up a little by a little. Will he be able? He's getting close, so it will be some racing right now. And we can see that C goes a little defensive, but Jabba is still staying behind. Doesn't want to go for a rash move so early on in the race, probably. And look at it, it's Ghost and Michelle. And Michelle seems to be going a little slower than he did earlier in the race now. As he has Ghost all over his rear. You can clearly see Ghost trying to get a good exit, and it does get a good exit too. They will be going side by side down the long straight now. Oh, there isn't much pace difference right now. You can see them side by side into the first corner. Oh yes. And Gio seems like Gio's kind of lost his consistency a little. However, you can see Slicker also picking up his pace in the last few laps. Good. As it looks like he didn't have the best run onto the straight there, Slicker. As you can clearly see that he lost a little on the going onto the straight. But the gap is just 3.5 seconds at the moment, so it's not big. You can see that the Thomas behind is also starting to close, also doing a 29 lap right now, and I think it might have been the best lap so far too. Is the Thomas. It was, so maybe that could mean he's able to pick up his pace now. Maybe we'll see him close a little closer too. As we see that Ghost is going a little wide here. Although Michelle. You can see the gap between the top two runners, that it's gone down again too, so it looks like Gio is struggling a little more right now. Although Siddharth, he looks to be on a charge again. Oh, but he goes wide. That is the commentator's curse. Well, I think the one who's gonna be most anxious about checking his mirror now is Gio, because Slicker is catching Gio and the Thomas is catching Slicker, so you can see it. It's just 5.5 seconds separating the top three right now, and it was almost 8 seconds. So looks like Gio might be struggling either with his tires or he might have just fallen out of the rhythm. That is hard to say, but yeah. Well, yeah, and look at this too. Like, if you look at the R Racer lap there, a 31.1, it's not really on par with the quickest Geyser, but it is quicker than he did earlier in the race, so it does look like he's able to catch up his pace a little as we have a look at the Thomas going down the main straight. Oh. Mm. And it opened by a second down to the Thomas. Gee, and we can clearly see that it's getting darker. Oh, and it's Michelle. It is definitely. Well, yeah, you do have a point there, actually. Pasha, he should be way ahead. So, nah, but with that early pit stop, he probably fueled the car a little, as he probably did repairs, so he might have enough fuel to go longer than everybody ahead of him right now, so he even yeah, well, will still be able to go longer than the other guys right now, but he will for sure have to pit again, as the others will, but a little later. Well, that is a good thing. However, we do have to face reality, and it is looking dark for Pasha getting a high position at least. He's quite far behind, so the win is probably off the table as it is right now, at least. But you gotta always stay in there. You gotta have that. You gotta be persistent, because you said it. People do mistakes. Suddenly there's positions up for grabs. And you can see that Slicker did a quick lap last lap too, so he's currently catching a little on Gio again, but it doesn't look like he's able to stay consistent and catching him over a lot of laps. It looks like it's one good lap and then he might lose a little time again, so looks like Gio has pretty well control on it right now. Probably, yeah. Our racer, though, he's steadily improving his lap times, but he's still losing time. Oh, and look at his last lap at 29.577. So this is, like I said, it looks like he's getting it really together now, but he's gotta be consistent about it. He's gotta be able to do another 29 and another after that to keep catching on Gio. And that's pretty much what he's not been able so far. But he is getting closer. And he is closing. It's almost below 2 seconds, and it's a little interesting how he seems to be a little more able right now to keep his lap times down. And you can also see, by the way, that the Thomas is also starting to do quicker laps right now, so that three-way battle is still on. And look at that. You have a good look at Geo ahead of Slicker. Well, maybe not through that corner, but right now onto the straight. You can see how close it is right now. It's only 2.5. And look at that though, the Thomas behind is he's really making it. He's really trying to get back into it right now, as he's not more than around 4.5 seconds to 4 to 5 seconds behind. Oh yeah, there is no one able to match that at the moment. Close, it looks like it might be Pasha actually in last, doing a 30 point, well, a 30 flat right now. Yeah, I gotta say right now that for me, we're getting pretty close to the rain. I think you will know that, I guess. Oh, Gio is pitting, Slicker is pitting, so they're both in the pits then. Who will... Yeah, look at this. Well, right now they look pretty similar when it comes to strategy. So, and well, that is not Slicker. That is. And yeah, you gotta remember that gap was only about 2 seconds, and right now looks like he might have lost 2 or 3 seconds in the pit, or if not more. We do actually. The gap is. Well, that can't be right. Hmm. He's. Yeah, I was thinking, I was thinking about it, that some of these guys, as we're getting so close to the rain right now, I think that some of them might try to hold on until it starts raining. But that is looking. Oh, but I think the Thomas might be a little closer actually. That doesn't then mean that the Thomas has been able to catch about half a second in the pit, so it's not a big gain, but everything counts. And and you can see this. Yeah, and right now with Razor and Ghost in the pit, I think the possibility of anyone staying out until it starts raining is pretty much the way, except for maybe Pasha Proton in last, as he. That's exactly it, and we do know that he did pit after, I can't remember, a few laps, so maybe he just about will. It wasn't that many laps then. Alright, he might then be able, but yeah. And look at this though, Pasha's last lap was a 41.4. He really can't. Yeah, he's lost about 10 seconds too, actually. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it on the two last drivers there. And I'm just realizing that Pasha Proton, after he's actually gained 2 positions after Z and Kilgore made their pits, so and while you do that, I'll inform everybody that Slicker, although he lost a lot of time, he's starting to gain now, and he's driving quite a lot faster than Geo at the moment. So he might still get back in it, but it is 14. Let's give a lap to him. Are you sure you're sharing your mic? Well, I can, but somebody says they don't hear you. You gotta go into the party, go on, what is it again? Audio settings. Yeah. Okay. It should be there. Yeah.
Ow. Always allow. Right, I fixed that. So,
Was it not on it though?
it was on not allow.
Alright,
Which is very annoying, because it means that no one can join me for the first half of the race, which is exactly why we do test streams.
Well,
That's exactly why we do test
there's
streams.
still an hour left though.
There's still an hour for people to listen to my beautiful voice and
that's better apparently, so...
perceptive analysis for the rest of the race.
So there's
I'm
a
sorry
lot
about
of
that
gaps
this
there
turn.
then.
We chose the right... This was meant to be a troubleshooting shoot. Let's look at Siddharth's time for this, because I think there's been a quick lap, and if he's strung together a good final sector, 1:29.3.
That should be the best lap. Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to take a look now at the point system and try and calculate which... I basically want to try and calculate what the championship standings will be as they are. We're almost halfway through the race now. Siddharth's flying again, by the way. You can see from the deltas. I'm not sure if you can see, but I can definitely see from the deltas.
Well, I get some
Siddharth's
flashes
about
up.
to... Yeah. Siddharth... Oh, he ran wide this corner. Okay. Maybe... Siddharth...
And he's slow down.
He got a
very
slowdown penalty. He got a slowdown penalty, I'm almost certain. That's going to cost this lap, I'm afraid, for the Indians. Gio, by the way, is opening up a gap. He is opening up a gap up to over 6 seconds now from Thomas. We're not very long, though, at all, until it starts raining. And as soon as it starts raining, this is going to become very, very exciting indeed. We're going to see... It's just the dynamic of the race is going to change. There are going to be pit stops, different drivers. I think the strategy seems pretty similar, but the main thing is I think we're just going to see different drivers. The speed's going to be completely different. I mean, we look at Siddharth, seems to be the fastest man on track right now in the dry, but will he be able to keep up this pace? Has our racer... He's only 50 seconds behind. Has he been saving up all race? Don't forget, Z3's prediction right at the start of the race was that the driver leading when the rain starts will not be the driver leading when the race finishes.
Well, we will not be the winning driver, no. And by
as
the
it
way,
stands,
could you try to turn down your mic volume a little, because apparently it is a bit loud, so...
is this better? I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I mean,
moved.
for me, I don't, for me it's not that bad, but in the stream, it is a bit loud, so I guess we'll just gotta wait and see what it says.
See what the response is.
In the meantime, Gio looks to have a better grip of his first position at the moment again. He is now currently pulling away from both Slicker and the Thomas.
Yeah, it's 6.5 seconds now the gap, and compare that lap times. Gio only put in a 1:31.3, so not the quickest lap of all time from the Scotsman. Thomas, sorry, behind him, of course. Now Thomas is in second, was 0.3 quicker. Keep up a 0.3 quicker every single lap, and it will take you 20 laps. And we're on lap 37. We're gonna get about 75 laps this race. So if Thomas was to go 0.3 quicker every single lap for the rest of the race than Gio, then Thomas would win the race. But it's not going to work like that, because it's going to start raining and then everything's going to start to really, really change. And
well, the rain is a big factor. So we're...
Pasha has slowed a little bit. Pasha has slowed a little bit.
Alright, maybe he's a bit lower
behind
still.
Kill. He's behind Kilgore. I'm not sure if he made a mistake. Or whatever's caused him to slow down. Maybe he has just been a little slow, but his lap time's looking fine.
Well, this last lap time looks fine. It might have been the lap before that too. But if you could try to lower your mic volume a little more too.
Right. I'm going to need to figure something out because I'm used to PC controls. I'll go into settings, give me a second.
Yeah. In the meantime, we're looking at Pasha as he's lost his 9th positions after being lost for quite a while. He is now trying to get back on the back of Kilgore.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. I'm just testing out my mic right now. Okay,
Alright.
ask our wonderful viewer how it sounds right now. Thank you, by the way, for tuning into the stream. I hope you're enjoying the racing, even if you've been dealing with one commentator appearing to have a conversation with no one for the first hour. I hope it will improve, and it's very good that we've been able to test things out on the non-official AOR stream. So in 2 weeks' time, when we return, hopefully live on the AOR stream in front of a live excited audience, hyped to see 11 of AOR's finest drivers duking it out in a long endurance race. We can provide the most professional and excellent and exciting and good, let me stick to the word good, casting possible. But thank you very much to anyone tuning into our stream, and particularly those trying to help improve it. I hope that the mic volume is fixed now. I've reduced it quite a bit, actually using the mic volume feature as opposed to mechanically.
Well, for me it sounds fine, but it's different on stream, so
Yeah, it's different on stream. We'll see. Let's see. Actually,
apparently it's louder again now. But you did go
louder again.
Yeah.
Okay, let me sort something out.
Your settings, right?
Yeah, let me fix this. Hang on.
All right.
I just need to make it. I just need to make it very quiet. What? Hang on.
As the Thomas right now is pretty much matching Geo. Yeah.
Ask how it is now.
What about now?
Hang on. Oh. Right. It turned out that I've been pressing back the entire time, so I hadn't turned down my mic once. My mic, I had in fact just turned down my mic, tested it, and then didn't press confirm. Right, my mic should definitely be turned down now.
Alright, well,
and now we'll see.
See what he says then.
We will see yet again what it is like. Slicker, who we're currently looking at, is 12 seconds behind the lead. But we're still must be very close to the rain. Close to the rain, by the way. Now, news just in. Junior Lock and Load has confirmed that unfortunately his steering wheel broke. It needed recalibrating just as the race started, and that prevented him from taking part, which is a real shame. I was really looking forward to seeing how he can perform.
It does also look like your volume is good now, so then just keep it at that.
Finally. I will keep it like this. But no, it's a real shame that Junior Lock and Load hasn't been able to compete. He had such a strong qualifying session, coming in second. The Brit, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be today. However, very promising for future seasons and future races. There are still 3 races left after today. This is round 7. Still got round 8, 9, and 10 left to go.
Has anybody more retired now? Because I believe it was 11 drivers just a few laps ago.
Z appears to be gone. Oh, Pasha hasn't made it.
Oh yes.
I'm afraid Pasha has not been able to make it until the rain. He's had to take a pit stop. So Pasha will remain out of sync, and I'm afraid will remain down. But no, Z, who was having a pretty torrid race, has fallen all the way down and then has just decided to retire. I'm not entirely sure why, but Pasha Proton won't make it to the rain, and he's not really in this race anymore, which is a bit of a shame. But he'll stay around. You get points. You get points for
Well, there's still important points to get, so
let me take a look at the points.
And I can tell you that our spectator is looking forward to the rain, as are we.
Any news on who our spectator is?
Oh, it is VSR Blizzard, if you know who that is.
No, I don't recognize the name. I know there are.
Ah, well, he's an AOR
I know he drives
F2 F1 racer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad he's enjoying it. I hope you can carry on tuning in for the spectating, not just in this race where rain could cause anything, but when anything can happen. We should be streaming live on youtube.com/Apex Online Racing in the future. If I guess the powers that be, Fizzy and King Kodiak, say that they're happy with the quality of the stream eventually, so we can commentate properly in the future, and Michelle as well. In many ways our boss and the league coordinator, who also does a lot of racing and is currently running in 5th place, 40 seconds down on the lead. Made a very early pit stop, but he should make it. The rain's starting soon. It's going to be dark, it's going to be rainy, it's going to be really tough.
It was with about around 50 minutes left, wasn't it? So I guess we should be seeing rain starts hitting anytime soon then.
Well, I was reading so basically, this uses what's called sync to race. The way that sync to race works is that there are a certain number of weather slots, and in the weather slots, if there are 4 weather slots, and it's a 2-hour race, each slot lasts for the amount of time, which is kind of the length of the race divided by the amount of weather slots. So let's say you have a 2-lap race, and the first slot's dry and the second slot's raining. It will start raining just as the leaders cross the line for the second lap. So, through some very simple maths, the rain should start with 40 minutes left, but people on the forums have been saying it should be starting about now. So we'll see how this works.
I guess we'll have to just wait and see when it actually does hit. One thing's for sure, these drivers are right now just waiting for that rain to hit.
Yeah, I think trying to string together laps consistently now is not the time in the race to be being a hero and suddenly making massive changes and trying to suddenly change up the order massively.
And I just noticed that the Thomas lost 2 seconds to Gio on the last lap, so he should have made a mistake then. And yes, Slicker is catching pretty heavily up right now, as he's just 11 seconds behind now, so he's still in it.
Don't forget, when he entered the pit stops,
2 seconds
20
behind
minutes ago. It was less than 2 seconds the gap. He'd really closed it in, and he just hasn't been able to keep this up. Siddharth has closed in 5 seconds since the pit window.
Yeah, about the same as Slicker actually then. And
he set another quick lap in the 29.
Still a lot of time left for Slicker to catch up. And the way he's driving now, he will be catching up at some point.
But the race isn't going to stay the same for very long. Of course, the race isn't going to stay the same.
Thomas is very inconsistent at the moment. He has one good lap, then one bad lap. And you can see that he's losing time by it, as he's almost catched by Slicker now. As we have a look at
I think it's quite impressive that the top 7 are within 47 seconds of each other. Everyone's been very, very consistent. We haven't seen very many major mistakes. Ghost is getting very, very, very light and oversteering on the curb there, but keeps the car in check. Let's ride on board with Ghost and enjoy this stunning scenery during twilight at Fuji Speedway, just before it starts to really cloud over and the rain comes out and the windscreen wipers come on and the action will really get exciting.
And everything becomes chaos.
Hopefully we see some excitement. Although hopefully we also
hopefully not chaos, but hopefully some excitement. Yeah, I can agree on that.
Hopefully we see clean, fair and competitive racing, as AOR has aimed to provide and has provided ever since ARL Season 1, which was back in F1 2010. We're getting very close, we must be, to the 10th anniversary, incidentally, of AOR. I'm looking forward to seeing if there's anything that they do to do with that. I've been on AOR very on and off for about 4 years, so I'm hardly an OG. But it's been interesting seeing the evolution.
I'm a couple of weeks fresh.
when I joined Project Cars was we were on the original project cars in season 3. And then I raced in season 4. I coordinated leagues and I lost interest a bit. But now I'm back. Now, one thing I want to take a look at before the rain starts as well. We're talking about how Slicker is 10 seconds down the lead, but how does it look like once we've got penalties? Gio must be enjoying his
Then
9-second lead.
well, considering penalties, Slicker is right now net second, but it's just 8 seconds because of Gio's 2-second time penalty, so it's a little closer than what it looks like. But there is still a lot of work to be done.
The thing which must be frustrating for Slicker is that he's in second place. He's in second place as of yet, off track. But on the track, he wants to be second so he can go and charge down Gio and try and take the lead. But currently, just not in the situation to do that. And that is.
And you can actually notice now that Gio has started to pick up his pace too. He's now driving quicker lap times than Slicker, so
they're following round. At this rate, we're not. I mean, the question is, can Slicker charge down Thomas and take the lead before the rain comes out? That's one question, but an even more important question is, does he need to? I think the answer to that is no. I don't think Slicker's really in any real rush to get past Thomas. He's not that much quicker, and soon pit stop's going to shake up everything anyway.
Oh, but do look at this though. He isn't far behind the Thomas. The Thomas is just ahead of him, and when you consider the lap times these two have been doing the last few laps, Slicker has been pretty much half a second quicker most of the laps. But we now do see the result of Slicker is right on his tail. And he might not be in a rush to get past, but he's definitely not going to sit behind waiting for any easy passes. He wants to catch time now.
That wasn't as good though. Slicker actually lost time that lap.
Yeah, that last lap.
The gap's 1.4 seconds now. It's so tight though. We're not seeing drivers lap kind of 2 seconds apart. Everything. Drivers are lapping so close together, and it's very difficult to make a big difference here. Again, Slicker's having to take a slowdown penalty, I can see from the warning symbol. Otherwise, Slicker's gonna take penalties, which he doesn't want.
And I've actually noticed now that Siddharth looks to have had a bad lap again, so
he's back in the 33.
He's been on the pace with the top 3 drivers this race. He's just been.
I think that's been the case of Siddharth.
He's just not been consistent, like as consistent as these top 3, and that seems like his major issue right now. He's got to work on that consistency.
Yeah, I agree, but it's a lot better. I think he was trying too hard to drive on the soft tires in the actual race, and I don't think it was working for him. And I think now he decided to choose the hard tire this race, and I think it's still giving him pretty decent pace. And if he can get his consistency down, I'm not sure. I don't know if he uses a wheel or a controller. I can say as someone who uses the controller that it's a lot more difficult to stay consistent. Let's go back to Slicker, getting very, very close. One thing I should point out that Slicker's happy about is that Slicker's said in the pre-race chat, he was complaining that he gets taken out of the first corner every race, otherwise he'd be right up there in the championship standing. Well, this race, he's been doing well. Oh look, he's going to send around the inside of the Thomas, and I think Thomas got a slowdown penalty, and that sent Slicker through. And potentially release Slicker.
And that does make it interesting now, because that just gave Slicker an amazing opportunity to get easy past the Thomas. The important thing for him right now though is just to stay ahead and don't let the Thomas stay too closely, so that he can keep focusing on attacking every corner and closing that gap to Gio. Although right now it doesn't look like the gap is going much more down at the moment.
Slicker currently runs 5th in the standings, and he's right up there. He's on 194 points, and Thomas in second is on 215. So, in terms of the championship standing, this is good for Slicker. He's this will really help vault him up. Although I think, as I said, as it stands, I think Gio takes the lead. No, I think Thomas will take the lead by half a point. As it stands.
Look at this, it's another good lap from Slicker, and well, it looks like he's lost a little in the first corner there, but the gap was almost down to 7 seconds for a moment there, so if he can keep this up, it's gonna be a really interesting battle when the rain hits.
Meanwhile, Slicker and Thomas aren't the only two drivers who are quite close together. Look at Ghost and R-Racer. R-Racer, the Spaniard who drives for the racing team along with Gio. He's got, and he's obviously a championship leader, 2 seconds still in front of Ghost. But their lap times are looking very, very similar, and we'll see. I just have a feeling that R-Racer is going to be quick in the rain. I have a feeling his setup's working better for the rain and not as well in the dry.
Well, with that then, right now, what do you predict for him when the rain hits?
I suggest you look at your screen right now though, Dead3, because look, we're starting to see the odd rain drop on the screen. I think the rain is starting to come out.
But it doesn't look like it's raining all over the track yet. But
it's far from raining all over the track at all.
Raindrops for a moment there, so well, we do have 45 minutes left, so we are within the period, and you can definitely see raindrops as we're going on board with Gio as he's lapping.
The windscreen wipes are coming on for the Scotsman. He's about to come up and lap Pasha.
Now it's gonna be interesting. And look at the gap between him and our Slicker. 6 seconds now, and with that 2-second penalty, it's just 4 seconds separating these two at the moment, and you can see that Slicker is catching heavily right now.
Let's take a look. We're running on board with Gio. It'll come up with a sector splits when, I hope, it'll come up with a splits when he goes through each sector. Let's take a look at how these compare. Our driver's slowing down in this conditions, the rain starting to come out. It's just finding out 3.3 seconds down on his fastest lap. The rain is here and it's slowing down drivers. And I mean, if we look at Slicker, I think we'll just miss it with Slicker. Thomas is almost 3 seconds down as well.
But Slicker isn't losing that much at the moment. He's catching. He's only 4 seconds behind right now. So he's catched 2 seconds, I believe, on this lap alone.
But I think Gio's coming into the pit.
We can see that Gio is coming into the pit. What about
Slicker? Slicker isn't staying out. Is he going to regret this? I'm not sure.
You see, if I'm right about what I said earlier, some driver is going to make a masterful strategy when the rain comes. This might be it.
Thomas is staying out as well. This could be a masterful call from Gio. We could see Slicker having nightmares and Thomas as well. Let's take a look at the view. Sidolf's coming in. Sidolf's coming in. Michel is coming in. R-Racer is coming around the final corner right now and is not having a good time at all.
If you look at Slicker's lap though, this last lap, he did do a 31.5, so he didn't...
That's rapid. He's enjoying these conditions.
He didn't do that bad considering the rain started. So if he can just keep that pace for one more lap, he'll have the lead.
Another person who's R-Racer put in a pretty decent lap. He stayed out and he put in a pretty decent lap, and he's coming around turn 1 right now.
Thomas though, he did not have a good lap, yet he decided to stay out, so certainly going to be interesting to see when Slicker pits and the Thomas and
4 seconds down. 4 seconds down for Thomas. Look at, I assume you can see the speedometer on the right hand side.
Oh yeah.
And we can take a look at the amount of fuel
careful right now.
Have. So, as it stands, let's take a look.
Slicker
is going to come in.
And now we will see. Was it a good
No,
call to stay out, or was it a bad call?
I think Thomas is also coming in, so the person we need to keep an eye on right now is, let's ride on board with Gio, watch him. See where he comes out. The other thing we need to question about Slicker is that Slicker struggled with his pit stop last time, there was some issue. Was that a one-off, or does Slicker just struggle with his pit stops?
Well,
that
hopefully
would be
that won't be the deciding factor right now. If that was a good call made by him, I really don't want to see him lose it on being stuck in the pit or something.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Man still
the Lollipop Man still holding it down.
And I believe that Gio is in the last corner right now. Slicker... No, that is our racer.
Hang on.
Slicker's still standing there.
Slicker's out, Slicker's out. Take a look at the mini map then. You can probably see the map on the top right hand corner, and Gio is going to inherit the lead. Definitely,
By how
it's
much,
going to be
though?
comfortable. I think it's quite comfortable, if I'm honest. There's Slicker coming out of the pit now.
So then Slicker must have lost too much time on that last lap, so...
Things are looking very good for Gio, they're not looking so good for your predictions, I'm afraid. Thomas...
You gotta remember though, there is still time.
We'll see, we're about to see who's quick and who's slow in these conditions. Slicker did seem to be enjoying, he's got a 12-second gap down to Gio, but he seems to be enjoying these conditions. Slicker just doesn't seem to be able to pit as quickly. If we look at, we can see the fuel in the
something about his pit stop that it's kind of a mystery right now. He's lost then about 10 seconds in both his pit stops, or more for that matter. So I don't know. As we can see that
we watch Siddarth go wide here, but Siddarth is
you can really see
only
the
24. The thing is though, he's right on the back of Thomas, and there's a lot left to see how this race goes.
Well, Siddarth hit the lap before the Thomas, didn't he? So
Siddarth came in immediately. Siddarth came in as soon as the rain started to come.
And the Thomas didn't, so you can see right now that the good
his cars
goal
are probably
was
warmer.
Probably to go in on that first lap.
I think it is. I think it is, and Gio's opened up a gap on Slicker. And Gio's still opening up a gap on Slicker as well. I think Gio does seem to be pretty quick. Let's see what lap time Slicker will be able to set as he comes across the line. It is going to be compared to Gio. 10 seconds down low, it's an outlap. It's an outlap, don't worry. Outlap to 10. Outlap to 10 seconds.
Well,
someone just retired. Passer Proton has just left the session, which is a bit of a shame.
Oh, well, that's one more down then.
Everyone then is on the lead lap. Kilgore currently rounds out the field.
Oh yeah, but he's about to get lapped, I believe. I think I didn't. Well, there we see Gio. Slicker is catching.
If we look at Gio, Kilgore's on the other side of the chicane as Gio just comes out. You can look at the mini map again in the right hand side.
Look at Slicker. He is catching heavily.
Oh, this is quick. This is quick.
Is down to 11.5 right now, and although he's hitting a little traffic there.
Our current benchmark times, 136.3, 136.4 seemed like a front-running time in these wet conditions. Let's see how this compares when Slicker and also Gio comes out. Gio's about to come out and set another lap time.
And it is gonna be...
Take a very careful look. I think it might be slow. I think it might have got wetter. A 37.4.
So he is struggling. We can see our
Slicker's
Slicker
lost time. Slicker's lost time suddenly.
Oh, I think he might have struggled with that lapped car, maybe. Because he was definitely catching before he catched that car.
Still, 137.0 is quicker.
4/10 catching, and you can clearly see that he seems like the quicker driver of these two right now.
How is Thomas going to do? He crosses the line now and sets a 38.1. That is not particularly quick. Siddarth sets a 39.2 behind him. Here's the person I really want to take a look at, the Spaniard R Racer, the championship
R
leader.
Racer, the
Is
guy
the
we
ring going to bring a
believe.
massive amount of inspiration? No, it's not. It's not at all.
A 38
Ghost.
so
Ghost is looking quick though. Ghost is looking quick. 37.4. But currently, the person who's enjoying these wet conditions the most is Slicker.
yeah, and by far a gap right now.
It's only 4/10, but 4/10 a lap will put him right up onto the gearbox of Gio.
Yeah, and you gotta remember though, before he catched that car, he was definitely catching more than 4/10.
And also, look at penalties. Slicker doesn't even need to pass Gio on track.
Nah, but he's gotta be closer than this though.
He's got to be closer than this. Also, and actually, Gio and Slicker both set in 37, almost identical lap times from the two front runners.
Yeah,
That last time around.
that is Gio hitting back.
Now the rain started, no one's going to break the fastest lap. So the fastest lap, I'm not sure if it revised points or not, but the fastest lap does go to Siddharth this race. So,
It does,
good piece of promise.
by a margin too. A 29.3.
3/10. It's a really, really quick lap. And only less than a second off the pole position setting lap, which is quite impressive.
Well, look at this
Now,
right now. Our
Slicker
Slicker
put in a
36.3.
36.3.
And he is only 10, well, almost around 11 seconds behind, so he's catching, but it definitely looks like these two drivers have certain parts of the track where they are better than each other right now, because you can see the gap going steadily up and down by a few tenths.
So when we came in, the before it started raining, is what I really mean. The order was Gio from Slicker, from Thomas, but Slicker and Thomas were very close. Now Thomas has fallen right off. Then Siddharth was in 4th, but not as close as he is now. And then R Racer and Ghost were way behind. Michel isn't looking too bad as well. I mean, this hasn't been his best race. I think he'll admit that. He's won 2 races this season. He just hasn't been that quick compared to previously. But that being said, he's still got time. Good performance here could easily put him up into 5th place, and that's solid points for the championship standings, keeping him comfortably in the battle for top 5. Top 5 are very close, particularly with our race. Let's take a look at lap times again. 1.6 seconds quicker Slicker was that lap. 1:36.040. That's a really, really good lap from Slicker. And
well, I think we can say for sure that right now Slicker is enjoying this race quite a lot more than Gio, because Gio seems to be struggling to push his lap times further down. He seems to be staying around that 37 and a half. While Slicker is just able to push his lap times further and further down, so I'm staying by my prediction. I'm calling it. Gio led when it was dry, but I don't think it's gonna be him winning the race in the end.
And if Slicker wins the race on the track, this could be quite something. But you know what else? Slicker's going to look back at the first hour and 20 minutes of the race in which he didn't pick up a single penalty. When he got to slow down, he followed the instructions of the game and slowed down and didn't abuse track limits, and ended up with 0 penalties at all. And this means he doesn't have to pass Gio on track, and it's going to make the finale quite a bit easier. That being said, Gio pumped in a quick lap, but Slicker is just that much quicker right now. This last lap time from Slicker.
This last lap, Slicker actually lost a little time right now.
Not enough. And actually, we've got some proper racing going on further back. Let's ride on board with Ghost.
And that is
he's right in the spray of our racer, who's not been enjoying the wet conditions as much as I might have hoped he could have made us. But our championship leader down all the way in 5th place, which for his standings might seem a long way down.
And look at this, he's already starting to drive defense. He knows that Ghost is gonna want that position. It's clear that Ghost is quicker at the moment, so. But it doesn't look like Ghost has the same straight line speed as Racer, though.
I don't think
Look at
Ghost
this
has
corner,
good
though.
line speed at all.
Ghost is able to take it much more tightly and is right in the middle of the spray.
He is right in the middle of the spray. He's not
Look
taking
at this.
any good to track side. He's going to try and send it right around the outside, pull a Marcel Fessler. I don't think he's going to be able to quite do it already. He's going to run right outside in the rain on the wet line. I think he's going to go up the inside. He's done it. It's a brilliant move from Ghost, although
what a move it was.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Well, not massively bad news, but our racer got a slowdown penalty, and I think our racer just had to slow down there to not get a penalty. And maybe, I'm not sure. I'd like to know after the race if our racer was pushing through that, but I think our racer might have had to slow down. Still, a spectacular German up into 5th place.
I mean, still Ghost managed to keep the grip around the outside there.
He did on the wet line. It does remind me of, though, in the World Endurance Championship, maybe it was 3 years ago, I think it was 2016. Marcel Fessler pulled off a very similar spectacular move.
I'm just saying that right now Slicker has lost time to Gio again, so looks like Gio has gotten a little more to grips with the rain now. Although the gap seems to have stabilized a little around 11 seconds, so.
I should point out, these two front two, we were questioning whether they'd be able to keep up their pace in the rain. They were quick in the dry, but in the rain, they've been in another league compared to everyone from third downwards. Thomas is gone. He was competing for the race win.
Yeah, the Thomas is not in for the win anymore now. Although we do have to mention though that Gus
Michel
and Michel are both able to almost match the two front runners pace-wise right now.
Now here's the question. Did Jabba the Hutt make a mistake? We're about to find out. He's about to cross the line, see what his normal lap time is. Oh no, the 38.1. I was wondering if we could see Kilgore provide a spectacular battle, trying to charge down Jabba the Hutt in the battle not to finish in last place, the most keenly fought battle in the entire race.
Oh, but we might actually.
That's a rapid lap, though. It's a rapid lap. 1:36.9. He's might not be quick in the drive, but in the wet.
At Slicker's last lap, a 35.9.
Rapid.
That's
really quick.
One lapping who's lapped a 35 in the rain so far.
Yes, it's not over, but Gio was quick too.
Oh yeah, Gio did a brilliant lap with a 36.3. But Slicker just brought it to the next level going into the 35s, and he just shows us that he's not gonna lose this race yet. He's gonna fight for it until the end.
Our racer had another poor lap. He had another poor lap, and Michel's caught right up onto the back. We now have a 3-car train pretty much. Our racer seems to be getting very close to picking up a lot of penalties at this point, and he hasn't got a penalty yet, and I think he's trying to keep it that way, but it's allowing Gost, who isn't being as worried, to pull away now and start to open up a little bit of a gap to everyone behind him.
You did mention it there. The two, there was 3 front runners, but after the rain period started, it is clear that it is a 2-man fight for the win. They are just so much quicker than everybody else at the moment.
36 flat from Slicker.
Yeah, and you see like a couple of other guys going into the 36s, but it's high 36s. These guys are going in the low 36s and even in the 35s, so
they are now on another level, and the best lap delta there, coming up as 1 second behind. I think that's actually true compared to his fastest lap in the dry. So really quick from Slicker. As a reminder, Gio has a penalty of 2 seconds, so Slick has to close the gap down to 2 seconds to win the race. He doesn't actually have to pass him on track. Which
And
is...
by saying that then, you can pretty much say that he's not 10 seconds behind, but 8 seconds. And you gotta realize that 8 seconds is a lot less than 10 seconds. Especially considering it's so much time left.
We've seen, all it takes is... I should also point out, Gio and Slicker have been absolutely faultless. We haven't seen a single mistake, a single slip-up from either of them, really.
Except for the pit stops. Something must have happened there.
Yeah. Slicker's lost 20 seconds plus in the pit.
You can see that
Slicker
Gio
could be in the
has
lead.
done a 36.2 this lap. Slicker on the other side has done a 35.6.
He's flying, but the gap just doesn't seem to be coming down that much. It just... You're expecting to see the gap into kind of single digits, but it's still above 10 seconds.
It's like it's going down, but it's also going up at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going on here. Michel is closing right on onto our racer. This is, in the context of the championship, this battle it's quite important. And
but
again, Michel
right in that spray yet.
He needs to really get tucked under the gearbox before looking for an overtake. But I mean, let's look at the lap times of our racer, and they're both in the 37th. They're just not on the speed that Slicker's providing.
Oh,
the gap,
yeah, you're right, but
it's under 10 seconds, or is it?
Well, it's rotating back and forth. Earlier, it's going up and down, but it's altogether it is going down. But you can now see that it's kind of stabilizing around 10 seconds. It might have gone a little upwards again now. So a few bad
Let's see again.
There.
You just have to take a look at the lap time and see how they are. Let's a 36.6 from Gio. Slicker crosses the line, and he is going to be a 36.4.
Yeah.
It's 2/10 quicker, but it's not enough. Let's ride on board with Slicker this lap. Let's see what the Englishman can do. See what a quick lap
he does
in the race
good and where he might lose time. It's going into
pitch black.
Second corner.
Very, very tidy so far.
Yeah, it looks very tidy. Doesn't look like he's struggling much with the grip right now. Almost looked like he went on the grass there to get to the line tight enough.
It's a very kind of, he's not using the track to its full extent.
He could
if anything,
use the track a little more, yeah.
But I'm not sure if maybe that's just out of caution. And maybe to try and get better lines through the chicane. Let's see, this looks like a very tidy lap, I must say, and the gap does seem to be closing to almost under 9 seconds at this point, or under 7 seconds is one way of looking at it.
Oh, and look at this, he's like I said, he's steadily catching. It's just not enough right now, as we can see that it really looks like this last corner, that's where Gio is gaining a lot of time.
I agree. And when you get down on the last corner, you get a really good
time in the last corner.
So 36.8 from Gio that lap. What's Slicker going to do? He's going to cross the line now. 35.7. It was another quick one from Slicker again in the 35. The only person who's been able to get into the 35. And at this rate, you think?
Oh wait,
it seems like the gap should be.
You didn't say only person in the 35, but look at Ghost down in 5th. He has actually done a 35.9 on his last lap, so he is very much on pace with these two top drivers. Unfortunately, though, he's really ended too far behind to actually fight for it right now. But he's showing that the pace is there. I think he can charge down Sidar.
I think he can charge down Sidar. I honestly think he could come and take. Actually, hang on. Take a look at penalties. he has 3 seconds less worth of penalties than Sidorf. So Ghost is going to need to close the gap down to 3 seconds or less as it stands.
Yeah, but
Slicker's
look at that though. The
even
last
more.
lap for Ghost was a 36.7, while for Siddharth it was a 36.9. So he didn't gain that much on that lap. But look at the gap between these two front runners now. It's starting to close down to 7 seconds now. And then we head into the last corner and it's up to 9, almost 10. It's just something about that last corner that doesn't look like Slicker is able to get as good of an exit as Gio gets. But on the other side though, his lap is still a second
It's a second quicker. It's a second quicker. Slicker is right in this race. There are 20 minutes left. We'll get in about 10 more laps. More than that. We'll get in maybe 25 laps. These drivers, they've been driving around 63 consecutive laps without making a single mistake. It must be quite the test. I'm already getting tired just commentating on this race. And imagine driving, the amount of concentration it takes to constantly drive through it. Consistently, something I struggle to do.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you have any experience with driving such a long race as 2 hours or more, but I do myself, and you think it's gonna be easy, but like after that first hour, when you realize that you have an hour or more left, you start to realize why it's actually as difficult as it is. Like keeping the concentration for that long, it's really that it comes down to. They all have driver skill, but it's the amount of concentration you need for the amount of time. It's really the difficult thing. And coming to the line, Gio is about to do a 36.5, so he's steadily in the mid 36s.
Slicker, I think, is on the flyer. I think this is gonna be quick. 35.5, it is.
And it's another second, and you can see that he has dipped into 7 seconds behind now. So
I find it just brilliant that after an hour and 40 minutes of racing, we are looking at a proper conclusion in which we still don't know who's going to win the race. I think that's just really quite something. Ooh. I'm afraid I missed Michel making the pass to get past our racer. But our racer now down in 7th place. That is not what he's going to want. He's fallen back in the rain. He was in 5th.
Look at his last lap, a 40.5. He's really not enjoying these conditions. Think about that. It's a 5-second gap on our racer and Slicker's lap there.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But
that is one lap.
Someone so high in the standing.
Exactly.
Over 1 lap. Our racer was much quicker. He was much quicker this lap, to be fair. He was much quicker this lap. Only he's still trying to stick behind.
37.7 there. But he's still losing time to Michel, so he's trying to find. Oh, and look at Michel going wide there.
He's got his own creative interpretation of what exactly the track entails, I'm afraid. Mount Fuji still visible in the dark, by the way. You just saw a quick peek from our rated angle. Quite beautiful scenery. Even at night, it's almost pitch black now in rainy conditions. Really challenging conditions for the drivers, but it makes for exciting conditions. Side by side, in the dark, in the rain. I don't think it gets much crazier than this.
Oh, and look at this. Gio is starting to answer Slicker now.
Oh, that's a quick lap.
Gio did a 35.7. Slicker still went faster, but that is almost a second quicker by Gio than his previous laps. And
let's ride on board for this lap. Ghost again being quick. He's just. I think Ghost is going to catch up to Sidorf. I hope we'll see some good racing between them.
Well, it was 12 seconds a few laps ago, I believe. So he is catching quickly now it's 5 on Sidorf, and Sidorf with a 41.2 has probably made a mistake too. So I think I think when it's down to the last few minutes, I think we'll have multiple on-track battles.
Ghost really quick sector for wet standards. Let's take a look. Gio's about to cross the line. The gap appears to be going back up yet again.
Ooh, it
Boy,
is right
the
now.
slick across it. Right, let's take a
And
look.
Gio
36.4,
with
so it wasn't actually
36.4.
quick from Gio. Slicker. It's going to be, we wait for him to cross the line so far down the straight. A 37.6. He
37.6.
must have made a mistake.
So that's
And
well, that's probably
he just
his
can't
worst
afford
lap
that.
since the rain started.
It's his worst lap since the rain started, I'm sure of it. And
Well, he still
opens
have
up the
time
gap.
though.
he still has 16 minutes. It's still a lot of laps left. Let's ride on
Oh,
board
yeah, but-
R. This gap is evaporating between Siddharth for 4th place and
Siddharth looks
Ghost.
to be making mistakes on every lap right now. He did another 41 lap. What is it gonna be this time? It's 39, so it's quicker, but
35.4
so-
from Ghost. He's
And that is-
absolutely
that
flying.
is the quickest rain lap we've seen.
I think it is the quickest rain lap we've seen. Ghost
Oh, yeah,
now,
I know
he's
that. I know Slicker's done a
Off
35.5, but nobody's done a 35.4 in the rain yet.
The challenge
I
for
believe.
Ghost now is, can he charge down Siddharth, past Siddharth, get to Thomas, past Thomas, and then get a 2-second lead on Thomas. That will get him on the podium, and that will be quite the drive.
Oh, you
Quite
see,
the
I
rain
did
performance.
not think that the podium positions were up for grabs by the drivers behind, but the Thomas does really not look like
He
he's
hasn't been
enjoying
on it.
these conditions. Think about the fact that he was only around 7 seconds behind Gio when the rain started.
He was right in it in the drive, but
And
The
since
wet
the rain
conditions-
started, he's lost half a minute.
he just hasn't been quick. He just hasn't been that quick in these conditions.
When that last lap by
And-
Slicker, he was down in the 35s again, and the gap is down to almost 7 seconds between the two front runners. However, it's Gust on the back of Siddharth right now. And Gust, he wants to get past. He's probably thinking about
That
the
lap.
podium position you were talking about right now.
It would be quite the performance from the German if he was able to claw himself up into a podium position. I may be wrong here, but nope. Gott has not had a single podium this season. This is already going to be his best finish of 4th place. It's already going to be his best finish. But he has not had a podium this season. He's quite a long way down in the standing. We know he's quick, but he just hasn't been consistent enough. And the podium, I think, would be really good and really impressive this race. Quite spectacular as well, but I'm not sure if it's on. I think
Well,
Thomas needs to make a mistake, and people haven't been making mistakes. 36.1 from Gio last lap. Let's see what Slicker can do. 36.
36
The
flat,
36
so
flat.
it's close.
It's not. But it's not enough right now. He's not closing in on
Right
Gio
now,
quick
he's not catching enough, but we've seen from previous laps that if he gets into that rhythm where he puts up 35, well, mid 35s lap after lap, he can still take it. But Gio has seemed in pretty good control of the race, well, since he got in the lead pretty much.
And just as in the classic spectator's curse style, just as Gio goes away, just we look at Gio and
Something's
Slicker,
happened with Siddharth.
Goss has managed to get past Siddharth. I think Siddharth made a mistake, to be honest. I think
Siddharth
Siddharth
must have made a mistake because he was up in the 41s again that lap, and that is about 3 to 4 seconds slower than he's usually lapping right now. And we can see that Michelle is down in the 35s now with a 35.9.
Oh, nice lap from the Dutchman there. There's a lot of Dutchmen here.
Yeah,
One
maybe
Dutchman,
maybe
I
we
should
can
say.
see him actually maybe
3.
catch Siddharth before the end too.
Siddharth would need to make a mistake. Not that he
Yeah, but
hasn't
we've
made
seen
quite a
him
few.
made
We've seen him make
two
quite a few
mistakes in
mistakes.
3 laps right now. So he's just gotta stop making mistakes right now, and he should be able to keep it. But right now he's making too many mistakes. On the other hand, Slicker lost the 10th to Gio on this lap, so Gio
It's going to need a good lap from Slicker. Let's
pretty
ride on board
comfortable.
him from this lap. I think this is about as late as Slicker can need it before he really has to start really closing in the gap a couple of seconds a lap, or like a second a lap at least. A second a lap only requires Gio to set 36 sixes and Slicker to set 35 sixes, which we know is possible.
Well, we know it's possible, but putting up 35 sixes lap after lap can't be easy. I would have not been able to do that for sure. But I'm also
Thomas,
not that
by
good
the
on
way,
this, though.
joins the 35 club out of nowhere. He's been struggling in the rain, but he's clearly seen Ghost closing in and being absolutely rapid, and he's responded. Maybe the lighter fuel load helped him. He's doing a 35.9 now, and the man in the blue and white, Ligier, the two of which have been so dominant this season, currently in the standings. It looks like, I think Gio does inherit the lead of the standings as it stands, but Thomas is going to be right up there. He's had 3 wins this season. He won't be getting a 4th today, but again, it's really good for the standings. There are still 3 races left to go. The next one's at Dubai, then we have one in America, which I'll check later, and I think it's going to end in Spa. So, still to play for championship standings wise. We've still got a race on, 10 minutes left. I think it's becoming too late for Slicker. I'm not sure that he's quite going quick enough as it stands.
With just 10 minutes left, and it doesn't look like he's able to get consistently down in the 35s again, and like that's the only thing that can save him to get the win right now. He's gotta be putting up those 35 laps, because Gio is not losing enough pretty much. On
If
the other
Slicker
hand,
wins
though,
it,
he will. You know, I'm just thinking it's gotta be frustrating for Slicker, thinking about how much time he's lost in the pit today, and how close he is to that win.
but you can't think about that right now. You've been working hard for an hour and 50 minutes, trying your best to win a race. You've got 9 minutes remaining. You may as well make the 9 minutes the best and not get tilted and frustrated thinking about how you've made mistakes in the pits. I know after the race, I'm sure you're
Obviously, you
particularly
can't
happy,
be
but the
thinking
gap is
about
closing.
it, but he's
got to get
most
his head down and take
likely
the
having that in
fastest
the
lap
back
of
of
his
his
life.
mind.
He's got to. By the way, Ghost, look at his previous lap. 135.060. He is on an absolute tear. Thomas has responded now. Thomas is going quickly. But as the fuel load lightens, Gus has really been enjoying these wet conditions.
But it's
hang on a
still
sec.
9 seconds between those two. Well,
No, wait! Ghost is disconnected!
oh,
No.
that is
His
such a shame.
His internet, he just disconnected. No, he was on an absolute tear. And then he disconnected from the race. That is...
Oh, and imagine that
must be
disconnecting
absolutely
right after he
galling for
did
him.
a 35 flat.
He's been driving such
On
a good
the
race.
other
It's going to be his
hand,
best result of the season.
Slicker has done exactly what we said he needed to do. He's gone down in the 35.6 again. But with just a little less than 8 minutes left, I think it is a bit too late. Even with that penalty.
I wouldn't say that yet. The gap seems to be under 7 seconds at this point. Gio isn't on a quick lap by any means, although Gio is going to set another 36.5 or so. Slicker looks like, if you look at the deltas, he's going to be in the 35s again. I think Slicker's going to be in the 35s
Yeah,
again.
maybe. He's catching, but will it be enough is the question. There's 7 minutes left, so
It's been a good race, I must say. It's been very long, but a lot's happened, and they've stayed so close together. You'd expect the guys to come up and put out 50
with
seconds.
the top drivers, how the gaps have been going so much back and forth, but still being so steady. And we can see the
Gio with the 36-1, 35-3 from Slicker. He's on it. He's on it. He's trying to set the quickest lap he possibly can right now.
He's
pushing so hard.
He's on his last push now, and he's gonna aim to give it to the end.
And
6 seconds. So
you do question.
4.5 then, in theory, with that penalty.
I'd like to ask about Gio as well. Gio, he hasn't won a race yet this season. However, he's got a lot to lose if he loses this race. And do you wonder if Gio's starting to get nervous? It doesn't seem like this. He's driving quickly, and it's very easy from the commentary bubble as it is to really overanalyze that and look at everything very carefully.
But you are mentioning something there, like if this could be his first. Slicker has bad corner there. If this could be his first race of the season, he could maybe experience some nerves towards the end of the race now, and like that is the worst thing you can experience. That could often lead into mistake, and right now one mistake is one more than Gio can afford.
Yep, I agree. And honestly, I think in Gio's mind right now, he's not losing this race. I think Gio thinks he just has to bring it home at this point. I don't think he's thinking about the penalties, and Slicker seems to have fallen behind again. 31, pretty much within 100th of last lap, a really consistent lap time from Gio. Slicker's about to cross the line now. It wasn't a good lap from him. It was not a good lap, it was a 1:36.7. I mean, comparatively it's rapid, but it's not what Slicker needs right now, and there was a brief glimmer of hope, but I think with 5 minutes remaining, it looks like it might be over.
Yeah, they have about 3 more laps with this lap to do, so maybe 4 actually. So yeah, it looks like Gio has it right now, but obviously mistakes happens, so it isn't a win until it is a win. But right now,
one person to look up. I'm looking at R-Racer right now, and the reason why is because Michel had a 1 second penalty. So R-Racer, even if he's not going to pass Michel, if he wants his 5th place to do his championship standings a world of good, 5th as opposed to 7th is big, he's got to at least close into a 2nd in front of Michel. This looks like to be quite a big battle. The Spaniards versus the Dutchmen, seeing what they
like
can
it
do.
is the battle to watch right now too.
Michel had a poor lap that last lap. This one's a lot quicker from Michel, and R-Racer wasn't as quick. Wow. Those lap times imply
2 seconds there actually.
He lost all the good work. Slicker, he's falling off. Let's see, Gio, let's ride on board with Gio for this lap, see how he does. 35-1! He really pulled out the stops, and now Gio's responding. 35.9 from Slicker is not going to be enough when Gio's setting the fastest lap of the race.
Look how many laps they've actually done. They've done 74 laps so far.
4 repetitions of each corner. It's really tiring. We've only got 3.5 minutes left of this race, and Gio has got one hand on the trophy for winning the race now. 35.1, the 2nd fastest wet lap of the race. The fastest, of course, goes to Goss, who I can't believe he disconnected. That's so unfortunate.
Right after that 35 flat lap too. Like,
he was driving
really
an absolutely stunning
there.
race. He was causing us an immense amount of excitement, and for the race to run like that, it's so unfortunate and so unjust. Thomas is almost guaranteed a podium position at this point. That'll be good. It'll be good for the championship for him.
He's really not been on pace in rain. He's struggled massively, but fortunately for him though, he did manage to stay with the top 2 drivers in the dry period. And considering
our pole sitter then is going to come 3rd at this rate. Unfortunately, our 2nd place, he disconnected, which is a shame, but It shows qualifying really doesn't mean very much. You were warning me about this right at the start, and that seems to be the case. 35-2 again from Gio, by the way. Gio is... I don't know if he responds or what, but Gio's had 2 quick laps in a row, and Slicker can't. It's too late now.
No,
2 laps. Gio's going to need to make a big mistake. I don't want to sound like a broken record.
The only thing that can prevent Gio from taking this win now is a big mistake, and it's not a small one, it's a big mistake.
Look, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I think we should take another moment to just appreciate Slicker and Gio have both driven absolutely brilliant races. Both of them have been so quick and so consistent. We've barely seen either of them put a foot wrong the entire time over 2 hours through wet, dark. It's been really, really impressive high quality racing from 2 drivers who aren't leading the standings, but they are in the top 5 group, and the standings are going to look really, really, really exciting after this race.
They might have not been leading the standings, but they have definitely been the 2 quickest drivers today, no doubt about it.
They've been...
Except for maybe Ghost, but he was not as consistent as these 2 have been.
Ghost just didn't have the pace in the dry. As soon as the rain came out, Ghost really, really picked up the pace, but he just hadn't had the pace in the dry.
And what is Gio gonna do this lap? He's gonna start his last lap then, isn't he?
Yeah, this is gonna be the final lap, isn't it? Is it gonna be a... Let's see, final lap, is it gonna be a bit of a victory lap? 36.6.
36.6, so
he's pulled his foot off the trigger, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's won this race. He's entering the final lap.
He can save this lap and lose a second or 2 if he just want to make sure, so he can afford that.
Interestingly, Michel has been on a tear right now. He's going quickly, 35s. And this is important. This is going to prevent our racer from... it's going to prevent our racer from getting that 5th place. He'll come in 6th, and it won't be good for the championship standings. Let's do a very quick check to check that no one's going to run out of fuel on the final lap. No. Good. Right.
Looks
now
like
I've got that out of the way.
Enough fuel.
Everyone did put in enough fuel.
So then look, we are looking at Gio as is in the last sector for the last time. It's been a long race. It's been 2 hours now and still going. As we see Gio coming in to the second to the last corner. Looks steady. It looks like he is taking it a bit cautious right now.
Coming around the final corner, which he's seemed to be able to use onto the start-finish straight.
And
round 7. Now the Fuji Speedway will go to Gio. The Scotsman.
And you see that he wants this win. He's not even celebrating by weaving. He is just driving steadily to make sure that nothing happens now.
I think. Unless,
there it is.
Unless. Is that a checkered flag? Let me check.
Yeah, race
I
is
have a feeling.
complete.
Race is complete. Slicker flashing his lights. He closed it in right at the end, I think. But in the end, it was never going to be enough.
A little
Thomas.
in the end there, yeah. The Thomas will be coming home for 3rd. Gap between
it was a good performance in the drive from him, but he just didn't have the pace in the wet in the end. He's really fallen off. 40 seconds. He's lost 40 seconds.
It's really unbelievable to think that we started for the first hour with 3 drivers really in it for the win, but as soon as it started raining, the Thomas was just never there again. He lost massively and just couldn't fold them at all.
Now this we need to watch. This we need to watch. If the gap is less than 1 second, our racer comes 5th. If the gap is more than 1 second, our racer comes 6th.
Michel had a
they
bad
very,
last
very
lap,
close.
so is this gonna
come
down to who has the best run of the last corner? And right now, what happened with Michel?
Wait, what happened? Michel went off on the last corner.
Lost it in
he
the last corner.
The last corner. Oh no! It's gonna lose him a place.
And what a spectacle! The last corner, the last possibility of losing that position, and it happened.
Well, look, Michel had been talking about how he needs to put in a bit of extra drama for the cameras, and I tell you what, he did it at the end. He made us excited right at the end. So, final standings I will remember to save the replay in case there are any issues. But in the end, Gio... No, actually I won't. So Gio took the win in the end, the Scotsman. Brilliant performance from him. Slicker, 7 seconds behind. Thomas came third, rounds out the podium. Siddharth comes fourth. Our racer fifth. Michel, with an exciting final lap, ends up coming sixth in the end. Yabba had a really, really quiet race, and Kilgore too. Laps down, but 7th and 8th go to them, and C retired from the race. That was a good race, and really, really good driving from all the drivers in the end.
It really was, and like, those 2 hours just flew by. It's been so
They did.
It's been so exciting with the battle for the lead all race, with it being so consistent, the gap between the front runners, and obviously with some of the midfield battles too being, they've just all been so consistent around each other, although we've seen a couple of mistakes. And in the end, we see that Gio he was just the better driver today.
And the better, his strategy was on point. He got his pit stops right. He did everything correctly. It was a really strong drive from him, and that's going to vault him right up in the championship standings.
I just gotta say, I still wonder what happened with Slicker in his pit stops, because his pit stops was just way longer than.
Well,
Gio's.
the first time, the lollipop went up and he just didn't move. I don't know what happened. The second time, it was his pit strategy. He stayed out a lap too late. But
Yeah.
I think that's a wrap for this race. It was a brilliant race, and I look forward to returning here in 2 weeks' time to commentate on the race, which I can't remember where it is next week. But let me take a look at the calendar quickly. In 2 weeks today, next Friday evening, we are in Dubai for what's going to be a very hot, dry race, less weather drama. But thank you everyone who did tune in for watching. I know there are some technical issues, but that's going to be resolved for next race, and hopefully we can be live on the proper Apex Online Racing channel, providing the best quality coverage we possibly can. I appreciate everyone's patience with any technical issues we had, but I look forward to returning to 2 weeks for the race in Dubai. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
And by that, good night, and hope to see you back.